Start, Tim, with a trade involving the Jays that just broke a few moments ago.
Yes, sir. It involves an outfielder, but probably not the outfielder that you're thinking about. The Jays have made a deal with the St. Louis Cardinals, and they have picked up Randal Grichuk, a 26-year-old right-handed outfielder from the Cardinals, in exchange for Dominic Leone and Connor Green. And Connor Green, an interesting part of this equation, because going into last year, he was one of the Jays' top-rated prospects. But obviously needing help in the outfield, Randal Grichuk is the guy that they have picked up.
It's interesting. It's the second time this offseason the Jays have gone to St. Louis and picked up a guy. Aledmys Diaz was the first one.
Right.
Went from being an all-star to kind of a dud in a very short period of time.
Right.
They go back to St. Louis, does Mark Shapiro and company. They look at a guy in Randal Grichuk, who for moments with the Cards over the last 4 years has looked like he was going to be the real deal, only to be sent to the minors last year.
Yeah.
It has been a roller coaster, again, similar to Aledmys Diaz, and to a certain extent, Colby Rasmus back in the day. It seems like whenever the Jays go to St. Louis, Tim, it's a player they once really liked, and maybe not as much like in this day and age, so they make a deal. But Grichuk, Tim, he can play both corner outfield spots. Lord knows the Jays need that kind of guy. He didn't play a lot of center field last year, and I'm reading how the Jays are now out on Lorenzo Cain and some other guys. I don't necessarily buy that, because they still need a center fielder as far as I'm concerned, all due respect to Kevin Pillar. But this is a very interesting pickup. He's a younger guy, Tim. He's controlled by the Jays till 2021. And it's another interesting move, and one I don't hate. I think it's worth the gamble for him.
And I think the Jays have a bit of a history of reclamation projects. And in this young man, I'm not sure he's a reclamation project. He did hit 22 home runs in 412 at-bats with the Cardinals last year, but the other numbers weren't that great. 238 was his batting average, 286 his on-base percentage.
Yeah.
He did hit better post-All-Star break, but obviously they are rolling the dice here, hoping that they can get what was once thought of as a pretty big prospect in the Cardinals system, and to do it, they have given up what was once a pretty big prospect in their own system in Connor Green, who really struggled in Double-A New Hampshire. So that is, again, breaking in the last, 15 minutes?
15, 20 minutes max.
And I may disagree with you a little bit on the Lorenzo Cain and maybe even the Yelich part of this equation.
They still need a center fielder. They still need a center
they
fielder.
have Kevin Pillar, and I think that they're capable. I'm not saying that Kevin Pillar is the answer at center field.
I'm not suggesting
saying that they think that they can go to camp and into the regular season with him playing there. Who else is around him? That'll be very interesting to see, and whether or not he can still play in center field. But it's funny how people have soured on that part of the equation.
Yeah, very quickly.
Very quickly. Very quickly.